Hello everybody, what's good? It's me, O'Neil Gerald, and it's time for me to analyze another voice. And today I'm going to be analyzing Dimash SOS. I think that's how you pronounce his name. If you don't, I'm sorry. And he's singing SOS. A lot of you have been asking for this, and it's also been a little bit controversial, and I'm going to get into why when we start the video. So let's hit it. Okay, so one thing that I really like, and it's not necessarily about his voice, is that he's singing in French. And in school, as a Canadian, I studied French. Do I remember all of it now? Not quite, but I found I'm seeing like some subtitles, and I can actually sort of kind of see what the vowels were supposed to be in the words that he's singing, and in seeing his voice, I guess, blossom over the course of him singing, I'm seeing where he's making some vowel modifications. And it also, for me as a listener and an analyst, I'm thinking, why is he changing the various vowels? So that's going to come into play a little bit later. I'll show you. But let's keep listening. Oh my gosh. Like, his voice. I'm in awe. I'm really in awe. Like the tenderness, I guess it's just the way that he's pulled back, and you could, even at the end of that phrase, you could hear a little bit of his natural vibrato come in. Okay, so that was our first register switch. So okay, let's do it this way. What we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the chest voice, we're gonna talk about the head voice, we're gonna double that meaning to mean mixed voice as well, and we're gonna talk about the falsetto. When he first started out, he was in a much lighter sound. I'm still trying to figure out, is it falsetto, is it head voice, is it very light head voice? So just to clarify, when I make a distinction between falsetto and head voice, I'm actually talking about the connection of the vocal folds versus disconnection. The language for these positions of the folds varies from teacher to teacher. So to clarify, in this video I'm using the term falsetto to mean the chords are somewhat abducted. This disconnection would cause a break in the voice when transitioning to other registers. Okay, so that's all. Just clarifying. Back to you, O'Neil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this entire phrase, and I'm going to show you where he's switching. And then when we get to this high part, we're going to see a little bit more of what's happening. Okay, chest. To a lighter. Okay, so we have chest, and then we're gonna have what I think is a falsetto to a very light mixed voice. And then what we're getting into here is what I think is more of a falsetto, and I'll tell you why. Okay, I want to say that he was singing in much more of a disconnected place, more of a reinforced falsetto that, and a reinforced falsetto is a falsetto that is rounder in sound. It has much more weight to it, but it's still disconnected from the rest of your range. Let's see if I can demonstrate. So if I were to sing in my falsetto, you can hear a lot of the air that's coming over the top. But if I were to sing ooh, ooh, versus ooh, ooh, we have a falsetto, ooh, and a reinforced falsetto, ooh. And even there, you can start to hear a little bit of the delayed onset in my voice because I'm pushing a little bit more. Ooh, 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 and then ooh, 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 with the falsetto. And that delayed onset is what you're hearing when he's getting into those higher notes. Do 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 do. And even what I just did, I switched to my chest voice on one of those notes, on do do do, and that's what he did as well. He switched to his very very light mix. Like, I can't tell you how amazing it is to see a singer that is able to coordinate so well and switch from a very a very disconnected sound to connected sound so easily. What it says to me is that he has like the very minute intricacies of his voice worked out. One last thing, remember when I told you I was, you know, taking French in school and I can kind of make out some pronunciations? Another thing that tells me he was in a falsetto is the fact that he was conforming his vowels a lot when he was up there. The lyric here is j'aimerais mieux être un oiseau, and that was some pretty bad French, but yeah, for me it just sounded like do 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 do. It sounded like one vowel. It didn't sound like he was really conforming a lot, and to me that said that he needed that vowel in order to keep that full sounding falsetto, to keep it from cracking. Ahead. Do you hear what I'm talking about? Like, this guy is just... So that's the beginning of his, and I don't use this term officially at all, his super head voice thing. It was full, his vibrato was very much there. It's an F-sharp 5. Pretty nice, Dimash. Okay, so now we're in a much more present chest voice. And this is the most chesty that I've seen him for the song. Yeah. Did you hear that, a little bit of that flip? A lot of people do that. Do 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 do. I'll show you it again. Yes. So you do see how he reset his, because I don't think he would have needed to breathe if that was a fully phrased, connected F-sharp 5. But again, we have a very chesty sound, and then he takes a breath, and that breath to me says it was much more of a time to reset, a time to adjust, so he could get into this this falsetto sound. Or reinforced falsetto, whatever it is. To me, it sounds more like a reinforced falsetto. Okay, and his vibrato has a little bit of it's not as even as when he's in his full like connected chest voice or mixed voice. There's a little bit of warbles, and to me I think it could possibly mean, and I also heard him sing Opera 2, I think the song was called, and he was in some very very high places, and I was hearing a little bit of this I guess mechanical vibrato, though it wasn't all the way natural, and so to me again that says that he's more in a falsetto. The problem I have with this is that the pitch correction actually takes out more of the twang that's actually in that sound that he's making, and actually it can sound closer to the end when he's fully you know in there. I don't even want to say belting, but his voice is fully present. His pitch kind of wavers because he's kind of screamy with it. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but if I can't detect that because of pitch correction, I say that that's a problem. I'm going to show you a clip later that proves that. Like, he's just jumping all over his registers. Like, I'm just like... Oh my gosh. My thing is how can you sing how can you sing a B4 like that as a man and your voice is just like, it was so pulled back yet fully there and resonant. To me it says I don't want to use resonant is the wrong word. Fully there, it's fully packed, it's connected, it's it's full of natural vibrato. It's just a great sound that he has. I'll show you. Did you hear it? And then he just grows with it. Sang Dimash. Absolutely. Okay, now the thing that makes me doubt myself when I say when he's singing a falsetto is that he is allowed, like, the sound that he makes it when he's singing, he grows into that connected sound again. And to me, I'm like, okay, so then that means he has, like, his head voice is connected at that part. And it's possible that these extreme notes that he's singing a little bit later are actually connected. And to me, that's crazy. Not that it's impossible, but it's crazy. Like, it's not just that you have an excellent instrument, meaning that you have like the makeups of your voice, the structure of your voice that makes your voice type. It's not just that he has a great voice, a great instrument in that, but he also has great mastery of his instrument. Here we go. I'm so shook. I'm a little bit jealous, but I got over that. That's why I had to watch this video before, because initially I was just salty the entire time. I was just like, I don't like that he sings a million times better than I can. But again, this isn't about comparison. This is just about unpacking what he's doing. That E5 was, sorry, not E5, E6. Guys, E6. What you can notice is that he, on the C#6, there's a little more of that vibrato that might be mechanical, like I was saying, but there's a little bit of that. But as he goes higher, he can't produce it anymore because he's really at the edge of his voice. And that's kind of what makes me kind of like, I don't know, because I'm just like, if you're singing at the edge of your voice like that all the time, that can't be good for your vocal health. But he still does it well. I'm not saying that he doesn't do it well, but it might not be the most sustainable choice. He could easily sing using half of his range. Yes, very literally half of his range, and be fine. But I guess it's just kind of for like that, you know, shock factor that he's going for. So here, listen to the C#6, and then as he goes up, he's gonna lose vibrato. Watch. See? And there he's at the edge of his voice. And what I liked there is that he being at the edge of his voice, to kind of, like, you know, give it a little bit more emotion. He still found moments to connect. He found places to connect at the back of his voice and bring it forward for dynamic variety. Okay, now that before is like him all the way here, like he's here. Okay, so you could even hear in the pitch correction where he was kind of descending. I'm gonna play this part a few times. Okay? There's an inflection up. And then his voice goes right down. You cannot hear it like fully, but you can hear the way that I guess the format, if you were using pitch correction software, you would adjust the format to kind of adjust what you heard. But there was a little bit of a drop in his, I guess I'm gonna say in the vowel. That's probably most of the place. Yeah, the pure, when he was going down in pitch, there was a drop in the vowel as well, and the pitch correction didn't mask that. And I'll show you that in its full body, in an unaltered performance of this song. Okay, and when I heard that, I was like, Really? That's very, very different than what I heard in the other video. But then I heard it again in another performance. So it's not as perfect as it's made to seem. He's clearly a great singer, but I just have a thing when producers get in the way and try to make things sound perfect. The beauty that is in a person's voice is not in perfection. Perfection that is attained via technology isn't true perfection. And it fools our ears to think that singers are able to do what they simply can't do. And it's not to say that he couldn't hit that in a much more pitch correct way, but I didn't want it to be pitch perfect. And in listening to his voice, it's not me looking for him to be perfect. It's me just listening to how he maneuvers his voice, listening to his strengths and listening to how he uses his strengths to maneuver around his weaknesses. And that was a point, that was one point where I could have really heard that, but pitch correction got in the way. So that's my little pitch correction bit. If you want to hear me talk about pitch correction a little more, check out my video on auto-tune and pitch correction. I'll leave it in the top right corner. Oh, okay. And here he extends the phrase. He intentionally puts, I guess he doesn't mask the flip to his head voice or falsetto, whatever he's working with up there. That was an excellent phrase. Listen to him extend the phrase. Absolutely. See, so that tells me he doesn't need those breaths. Mans doesn't need breaths. Anyway. And there he grew a little bit as well. Shoot, I know a lot of you would probably want to see my first reaction, but in order for me to talk as accurate as I can, I want to kind of watch and kind of, audit the video before first to see if it's legit. I'm glad I was able to do this one and not necessarily one that wasn't pitch corrected. It gave us a little bit to talk about. If you want to talk about the pitch correction and all of those different things, just hit me up in the comments below and I will talk to you all later. Okay, bye everyone.